Man United 1, Fulham 2. United lose yet another home game to Fulham, who played some scientific, mesmerizing, scintillating football and destroyed Man United, running through United like a chainsaw through a sticker bar. We were absolutely abysmal and absolutely shambolic. I'm here with Houston Red Army to decipher what went fucking wrong. My namesake, what happened today, mate?
Midfield control. Man, it's one thing that, it's one thing to start 4 academy players, 3 of which are under 20 years old. We had Forsum starting, we had Garnacho starting, and we had Manutd starting. We had Rashford starting too, which is an academy product. He's 26 years old, 27.
That guy's a senior citizen.
He's a senior. He should know better at this point. But it's like when an 18-year-old has the most control, the most composure in your midfield, you're doing something wrong. Bruno and Casemiro are both seasoned veterans, seasoned pros at this point, and every time it's just fucking hero ball with them. And it's like, I understand the hero ball for when it's needed. Hero ball is fine, but it's like when we're in these situations where we have 4 kids, 3 kids and a fucking stunted growth 26-year-old playing. It's like mentally stunted 26-year-old playing. The kid still, he may be 26, but he's acting like he's fucking 22, 21 at this point, dog. I love you, Rash, but dog, it's like we need composure from other players and from the fucking likes of our former captain Harry Maguire to our current captain Bruno to Casemiro, the 5-time Champions League winner, to Varane, the 5-time Champions League winner,
and World Cup winner.
There was literally zero composure between those 4 to control the game. Like, we lost this game from the midfield.
100%.
And it's just like we lost every game from the midfield because there's just a lack of desire to have the ball. Because every time we have the ball, it's let's try and see if we can find something instead of, hey, let's slow it down, let's kill this fucking momentum that this other team has and control the game. And it's just ridiculous over and over again, the cycle of, hey, let's let the other team get the ball, attack us, boot it, attack, boot it, attack. But just, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
It's an absolute mess. Jacob, move it. Jacob, I mean, what was your take on this game?
It's tough, right? Because at the end, the scoreline makes it seem like it was a close game.
Exactly. It does flat.
We're hanging on.
2-1, it was a very... The game was on a knife edge. It was a seesaw affair.
Yeah. We're all cheering for, a game winner in stoppage time, but we have to remember if Fulham could finish, it would have been 3-0 at halftime.
100%, mate.
So probably after the first 20 minutes.
So it's tough to look at it. It feels like a 3 points loss. You're playing anybody at home, you expect to win.
100%.
Especially a team that hasn't won an away game since their opening game.
Could you imagine
Fulham
that?
haven't won away game since their opening game.
Did you guys have? They haven't won an away game since when?
And their opening game of the season. We are now 29 games into the season.
End of February.
And they haven't won an away game. And of course, they came to Old Trafford.
And of course they did what. So United, do we have an excuse? We're not playing in Europe. So during the week preparation, you can't say, "Oh, we traveled here." We didn't play anything during the week. We have a lot of time. You telling me you cannot figure out to play against Fulham?
They didn't even have their best players, and it's like we had the week to prepare. We knew Luke Shaw was going to be out. We knew we weren't. Granted, Højlund was a late scratch. Your striker, no offense, but your striker, your striker shouldn't. We had this conversation before we started. Højlund has been great because of individual brilliance.
Yes.
He has not shown out, the team has not shown out to support or help him.
Nope.
And that's not why Rashford went missing today. Rashford went missing today because he didn't give a shit and he didn't try and fucking do shit. Højlund gives a shit and gave an effort.
Yeah, you can see the effort.
And you can see the effort. And if given a little bit of extra effort, we could have seen something different, but that's what it was. Like these 6 games where he scored 7, they've been mostly individual poacher goals or individual hey,
right spot.
You guys aren't doing this for me, I'll do this. And that's what it was. Versus getting help from your midfield, getting support, getting distribution from anywhere on the field.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate United's performance today, man? Don't be shy. That's it, mate.
5.
Oh, you're being
generous.
You're so generous. I'm in negatives. There was no positives about today. There was no positives about today.
I'm telling you.
The goal that got scored was because Harry was in the wrong position. He was trying to play as a winger instead of being in the middle of the field, and that's why he was out so far of the field to get that rebound. That's why.
I'll say this. You know, it's a poor game if when you look back and the one person who stood out from an individual standpoint as having a better match than normal was Onana.
It was Onana.
It was Onana.
Yeah.
We harped for years about De Gea being our star player, and here we are with.
I mean, the first goal couldn't do anything about it.
I love you, David. I love you. I don't know.
You
You're
let
never
a guy
going to see
take
this,
2
but
attempts to score.
It'll be
the
out there.
ball
I love
hit
you,
him, he
David
came
De
back.
Gea.
He hit them.
And he had
miss
some
you so
phenomenal saves off the
yeah.
line. So, like, when you
But those were the
lose
things that he did to
2-1,
himself again.
Yeah.
Those are the things that we miss about De Gea doing because he would do these things to himself. We brought Onana in to be a distribution from the back, to be a controlling force. He hasn't shown
You
that.
can't do that without a
It's like fair point.
Square pegs in round holes, right?
Fair point. Fair points all around. Fair points all around. Building blocks.
Yeah.
Building blocks are there. They should hopefully be followed within the next year with whatever management is here.
And I know
Ownership group is.
we've been saying this for so long, right? But like, I love playing the kids because at some point the kids 4 or 5 years from now are going to be stepping up in the ways that Bruno and Casemiro and Varane are not stepping up now. Right? So we play the kids. They go through it, right? They learn to struggle. They learn to become the leaders that the club needs. And if we can hold out for another 3 or 4 years, and then they can be. I don't like saying it.
I don't like the.
And theoretically, you should be able to play the kids, but have a balance where you have your 5-time Champions League winners leading. Right, and correcting and
advising
and
being mentors as fucking adults, being adults to the children of the team.
And maybe it is, and we don't see it, right? Maybe it's happening at the training ground, maybe it's happening in conversations after the match, but usually that translates to performance on the pitch.
So what was the score you gave them? Because I didn't quite catch it.
I'm negative.
I need them.
It can be negative. Anything you want is as
It's
a round
under- it's
number.
under-
Anything
it's under
under
1.
0. Under 1, under 0. They did not perform. The goal that was scored was a fluke goal, in my opinion. He was right place, right time.
7 minutes of pressure.
It was a fine little bit of pressure 90 minutes into a game where we showed no pressure. Sure. If that, I get it. We put a goal on the board, but I mean, if you'll review the video that we had of the goal scored. I was sitting there very annoyed that we had scored the goal. I was sitting there so annoyed that we had scored the goal. It's just we didn't show anything all game. We didn't show any type of fight. Maybe Onana earned himself a fucking positive, but there was no fight.
I don't mind United losing. It's the manner in which they lose. Today was embarrassing.
And if we had gotten the winner, it would have been the manner in which we won.
We just sat there and rolled over.
And that was the paper over the cracks.
Sat there and rolled over.
Oh, United are comeback kings. Oh, fucking no. So what, Jacob? What would you give them a scale of 1 to 10? I know you're a very generous guy.
I've been convinced to drop maybe a little down. I'll drop to a 4.
4 out of 10.
All right. I get it. I get the need to be positive. I do, but
I like the first 10 minutes. First 10 minutes, I feel like we controlled possession pretty well, and it was like, okay, this is. But there was no chances created from possession.
No.
And then it was Fulham for the next 60.
Oh yes.
I get you like the first 10 minutes, but let's put it like this: 10 out of 100, which was a 100-minute game.
That's fine. I give them a 4. 4's not a 7.
No, man. It
was not.
So you heard it from Houston Red Army. My namesake and Jacob, we literally just saw this game. We saw how embarrassing, astronomically shambolic we were. But this today was an abysmal performance. But there's nothing else we could do. They have to go look at themselves and say, you know what, we were fucking shit. You embarrassed yourself in front of 75,000 fans and people watching worldwide. Perform that fucking shit. Unacceptable. From all of us, Houston Red Army, glory, glory.
United.
We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.